Alright, we are about to do this semester exam review. Don't pay attention to the date, the year on there. We're talking about 2017, 2018. Alright, so let's define some vocab here. So what is a chord? You gotta know these vocab words to match them. So if you remember from our last circles unit, okay, a chord is a segment whose endpoints are 2 points on a circle, right? Alright, and then a radius is a segment whose endpoints are the center of a circle and a point on the circle. A diameter is also a segment whose endpoints this time are well, we'll just call it a chord. A chord that passes through the center of a circle. A secant line. Alright, we got another difference between secant, tangent, chord, all that good stuff. So a secant line is a line, not a segment, that intersects a circle and 2 points. And let's spell intersects right. There we go. A tangent line is a line that intersects a circle in exactly 1 point. What's a central angle? A central angle is an angle whose vertex is the center of a circle, basically from the middle. Hypotenuse, the longest side of a right triangle across from the right angle. Y'all remember that from triangles. Adjacent side, the side next to a given angle that is not the hypotenuse. The side across from a given angle. Scalene triangle. A triangle with 3 different side lengths. Isosceles triangle. A triangle with 2 congruent sides. A triangle with all congruent, but 3 congruent sides. Obtuse triangle. A triangle with 1 obtuse angle. Remember, you cannot have more than 1 obtuse angle or it will not be a triangle. A triangle with 3 acute angles. Oh yeah. Okay. let's start doing some math. We really got to remember how to do trigonometry. I know it's been a hot minute, but that's all right. So let's make sure we got our calculators ready to do some work. Up here, make sure it says degrees, DEG, it does, so we're good. And here we go. A ladder 17 feet from the base of a building reaches a window that is 45 feet high. What is the length of the ladder to the nearest foot? Okay. Now, how many pages are this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we have 4 days this week. So we can do like 2 a day. Alright, so a ladder 17 feet from the base of a building reaches a window that is 45 feet high. Okay, so let's label what it tells us. Okay, and it tells us that the ladder is 17 feet from the base. So from here to here, 17. And this is 45 feet high. The window is 45 feet high. So we'll call this X over here. So we're going to have to use our favorite thing, Pythagorean theorem. So, Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. It's going to be 17 squared plus 45 squared equals x squared. Now I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to add 17 squared plus 45 squared. I get 2314 equals x squared. And then my last step is to square root 48.1. And my units would be feet. Not squared. We're not talking about area. 17, a telephone pole is broken during a storm. Y'all remember this one when we took this test? It's 8 feet. 8 feet of the pole is left standing, okay, right here. The top of the pole touched the ground 12 feet from the base. Okay, now how tall was the pole? So I want you to know the pole is this 8 feet plus this missing x. So yes, we're going to use Pythagorean theorem, but we have a last step where we need to add them together. So let's do this. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. 8 squared plus 12 squared equals x squared. I go to my calculator and I do 8 squared plus 12 squared. I get 208 equals x squared. Then I square root. .42 is x, and that's not the final answer. Okay, so the pole is going to be 8, that's standing up, plus 14.42, that's going to give me 22.42 feet. Okay. Gotta add that little part. 18, a landscaper wants to place a stone walkway from one corner of the rectangular lawn to the opposite corner. What will the length of the walkway? So again, we got a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Pythagorean theorem. 45 squared plus 90 squared equals x squared. I go to my calculator, 45 squared plus 90 squared is 10125, and I need to find the square root of both sides. Square root of 10125, and I get 100.62 feet is my final answer. Alright. So this says write the congruent statement that correctly indicates that the two given triangles are congruent. So when we do this, okay, we like to say triangle blah 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 is what? Congruent to triangle blah, blah, blah. Okay? So, I like to do 1 arc, 2 arc, 3 arc. So 1 arc is A, 2 arc is B, 3 arc is C. So triangle ABC is congruent, that's what this means, to triangle, and then 1 arc, 2 arc, 3 arc, FDE. Do you see how that's tricky? Because they didn't put it in alphabetical order. It's not always going to be in alphabetical order, okay? So, make sure you actually look at it. Triangle DEF is congruent to HJK, okay? So, drawing a picture is always nice. DEF. HJK. Okay, so D is 43.8. That means H is going to be the same thing. F is 17.3. So is K. We want to find angle J. Okay. So we know that D and F. Okay, so we got 43.8. We got 17.3. So I need to figure out E. If I can figure out E, I know J is the exact same thing. So let's take the two angles I know, D and F, and add them up. 43.8 plus 17.3. So 61.1. So if 61.1 is angle E, then that means the measure of angle J, which is congruent, is also going to be 61.1 degrees. Okay. 21. Given these are congruent, find each value. Alright, so you see how G is the middle letter right here. K is the middle letter right here. So this equal sign this. Alright, so I can set those equal. For x minus 20 equal sign 108. Let's solve this. Get rid of the loner. Plus 20. And then to get rid of the 4, we divide. X equals 32. Okay. And then for y, well, do you see how F, G are the first two letters? And J, K are the first two letters? That means this equals this. So 12 equal sign 3y minus 15. Get rid of the loner. And get rid of that 3 by dividing. Alright. Let's do another page. And that'll be it for this first video. Okay. A yield sign is an equilateral triangle with a side length of 26 inches all the way around. What is the height h of the sign? Round your answer to the nearest tenth. Okay. So we want to be able to find the height of this thing. Alright, so we're going to have to use trigonometry. So at the very top, I want you to write something we have to remember. So, ka, toa. Remember the Dragon Ball Z reference? Okay, so we're thinking about half of this equilateral triangle. Okay. So my angle is 60. Alright. I'm looking for the height. We'll call it x right here. I know this length over here is half of 26, which is 13. Okay. So it's been a while, but you got to remember to label O, H, and A. So across from 60 is my O. across from 90 is my h, and then the leftover is a. Now looking at O, H, and A, which one am I not going to use? H. So I look at OA, and I'm reminded OA is TOA, T-O-A. So I'm going to write tan angle 60 equals O over A, x over 13. And then how do I get rid of that divided by 13? Times 13 times 13. So I need to do tan 60 times 13. Now you might remember this. I hit this trig button right here. Okay, so I'm going to hit the trig next to the number 7. Hit tan 60, end the parentheses, times 13. In one step, because I'm in degrees mode, I get 22.52. My missing length in inches right there. Okay, let's do it again. On number 23, where's my angle? And now I'm going to label O, H, and A. O, H, A. Which one am I not going to use? O, H, or A? O has a 7, H has a Y, A is nothing. Goodbye, A. So when I look at O and H has to be S for sine. Okay? We don't say sin, but whatever. So sine, S-I-N, angle, 45, equals O over H, 7 over Y. Now this is that weird situation. Remember, when the variable, when the letter y is on the bottom, our little mental trick, we're going to do 2 steps in one. We're going to take the left side and the bottom of that fraction and switcheroo. The y goes to the left, the 7 stays on top, but the sine 45 goes to the bottom. So I'm going to type 7 divided by sine 45. 7 divided by trig sine 45. 9.89, which is going to round up to 9.9. Very close to 10. And that's going to be in centimeters. Okay? So again, we're going to have to get reintroduced to this trigonometry stuff. Okay? So find the area and perimeter of the square in square centimeters. All right. We're going to omit this one, which means skip. Whatever. 25. Find the area and perimeter of the rectangle of the nearest length. So we're going to have to use trig again and then apply it with area and perimeter. So what's my angle? 60, right? Let's label O, H, and A. Now here's the deal. What am I missing? I'm actually, to find area and perimeter, I'm missing both the O and the A, okay? So I'm going to actually do 2 different trig problems here, okay? So I'm going to use OH to figure out this missing side length right here. So OH is sine. Sine 60 equals x over 17 times 17 times 17. Sine 60 times 17. And the parentheses, 14.72. And I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to use AH this time, which is cosine. So cosine 60 equals A over H. We'll call this one Y. again, times 17 times 17. Cosine 60 times 17 is 8.5. So I get 8.5. So perimeter, I'm going to add up 8.5 plus 14.72 twice. And I get 46.44 inches. Right? And then my area equals length times width. So I'm going to do 8.5 times 14.72, 125.12. This time that's going to be in inches squared. It's area. So that was a lot of work, a little bit of space. You can do it though. All right, polygons and quadrilaterals. So this next one, we're remembering our four-sided figures and the polygons. So, given that this is a parallelogram, so what do we know about this? So, let's start off with the z's, okay? So this z and this z, do you see how this one's acute and this one's obtuse? They are not across from each other, they are next to each other. They are not congruent, they are, the word, when they add up to 180, supplementary. So z minus 15, that angle, plus 2z, the other angle, equals 180, okay? A 1z plus a 2z is a 3z. Bring down minus 15, and that equals 180. Get rid of the loner. 3z equals 195. Divide by 3. Okay, what is 195 divided by 3? 65. Okay, now angle C is 2z. So the measure of angle C equals 2z, which is 2 times 65, which is 130 degrees. So this angle right here is 130. So guess what angle X is going to be over here if I know angle C? Well, X is also going to be 130 degrees. And then Y, again, X and Y are not the same, just like down here. Y is supplementary. Okay. So X plus Y equals 180. 130 plus Y equals 180. Minus 130 minus 130. Y equals 50. All right. A couple more. Given that the shape is a right trapezoid, solve for X. Now we got to remember the rule for this. When we have this mid-segment from midpoint to midpoint, I know it's a midpoint because of that and because of that, right? That this mid-segment is the average of these two sides, okay? So the way we would set it up is the mid-segment, 20, equals 1/2, and then we would add up the outsides, 34 plus x, okay? So, to get rid of the half, I would do times 2, times 2, 40 equals 34 plus x. then I would subtract 34 from both sides, and I would get 40 minus 34 is 6. Okay? That's the hard way. The easier way is, what's the difference between 34 and 20? 14. So if you do that again, 20 minus 14, you should get 6. Okay? There's two ways to do it. Either way is right. Alright, kites are easy to confuse over here on number 28. Given that the shape is a kite, solve for W and Z. The only thing you know in a kite is that these side angles are congruent. So let's set those equal. Z plus 28 equals sine 140. Get rid of that loner. Okay, 112. Okay. So if I know Z is 112, what is this angle going to be right here? I need to plug it into Z minus 50. Z minus 50. Z is 112, so 112 minus 50 is going to give me 62 degrees. Okay. So for this angle right here, I know it's going to be 62. So I got 140 here, I got 140 here, and I got 62 right here. So if I know 3 of my angles, and I'm missing the 4th angle, remember, inside of a 4-sided figure, it adds up to 360, okay? So W plus 140 plus 140 plus 62. I'm adding up all 4 angles. One of them is missing, though, right? That's supposed to equal 360. So basically, we're going to add up all 3 of these numbers, 140 plus 140 plus 62, okay? 342. And we're going to take that away from 360. So minus 342. W is going to equal 18 degrees somehow. Alright? And that's a good stopping point for today. That's plenty. 28 minutes of notes, goodness gracious. Alright, so again, what did we do? We did the first page front and back, and then the front of the second page. There's still plenty to do. We're going to trek through it as the days go by in chunks. Alright. Alright. Continuing on. Alright. Given that the shape is a rectangle, solve for W, X, Y, and Z. So again, rectangle, every one of these is a right angle. Set them equal to 90, so X equals 90. That's it. Easy. 3W equals 90. Divide by 3. W equals 30. 9Z equals 90. Divide by 9. Z equals 10. 5V plus 25 equals 90. Minus 25. 5V equals 65. Divided by 5. V equals 13. Name the quadrilateral that satisfies all the following conditions. The diagonals are congruent, the opposite sides are parallel, the opposite sides are congruent, diagonals bisect each other, the diagonals are perpendicular. All these things make a square. Okay. 31. Solve for the area perimeter. Now we can definitely get the perimeter right now. Okay, so 8.1 is this, 5 is this, 7 plus 3, this whole thing is 10. So for perimeter, we're going to do 8.1 plus 5 plus 10. 23.1. Okay? And then we're missing this height right here. So I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem with 3 and 5. Okay? 3 squared plus x squared equals 5 squared. 9 plus x squared equals 25 minus 9. 16, and the square root of 16 is 4. And if you remember, this is a Pythagorean triple. 3, 4, 5, right triangle. So, for area, we should know it's base times height divided by 2. The base is still 10. The height we just figured out is 4, and divide by 2, which gives us 20. 32 solved for the area and perimeter of the following shape. Remember, this is a regular polygon. This is on your formula chart. Alright, so the area is 1/2 little a, big P. Little a stands for apothem. Okay, so right here, this is my apothem. Let's figure out the perimeter real quick. I got 7 times 6. What's 7 times 6? Okay, 42. So for the area, it's going to be AP, so 5.78 times 42 divided by 2, or a half, whatever. So 5.78 times 42 divided by 2, 121.38. Okay. Cool. 33. Solve for the area and perimeter of the following shape. Now, luckily, we have everything we need right here. So for a trapezoid, for the well, first perimeter. For perimeter, add up all the sides. 8 plus 12 plus 8 plus 18, 46. Okay, and the area is just base times height. 18 times 7.4. No, that's not true. Hold on. For a trapezoid, if we look at our formula chart, one half base 1 plus base 2 times the height. So it equals base 1 plus base 2, 18 plus 12, times the height, 7.4, divided by 2. Okay. $111. What's the area of the unshaded part? Okay, so we're going to do the big rectangle, and then we're going to minus, and then we're going to do the square plus the triangle. Okay, so how do I find the area of a big rectangle? I do length times width, 300 times 150. I'm going to get that number, minus, and what's the square? 100 times 100, plus for the triangle, it's base times height divided by 2. 120 times 150 over 2. Let's figure out these numbers. 300 times 150. 45,000. $9,000. Okay. Okay. So we're going to add those up over here. So basically 4,500 sorry, that should be 1,000. 45,000 minus, and what's 10,000 plus 9,000? 19,000. Alright. And that gives us 26,000 feet squared. Alright. Alright. To the next page, got some more of the same thing. Okay, what's the total area of the selection that ELI will paint? The shaded triangles represent the selections ELI will paint. So, shaded is what he will paint. Area will paint. So we're finding the area of two triangles, okay? So 2 triangles. So 2 times base times height divided by 2. 2 times the base is 4, the height is 6. 4 times 6 divided by 2. We're going to get 24 centimeters squared. Alright. 36. The dimensions of 3 connected stores are shown below. How many square feet is it going to be? So, basically we can break this up into 3 sections and find those 3 areas and add them up. So if I keep this going straight and this going straight, okay, this is 60, this is 75, what is 60 plus 75? 135. I'm going to take that whole thing, 243 minus 135. I get 108. Okay. So this right here is 108. Alright. And then the other thing I need to find out, if this whole thing is 215, and this is 128, 215 minus 128 gives me 87. So that means that this right here is going to be 87. Alright, so let's add up all 3 rectangles, and we're finding there what? How many square feet of space, which means area. So the first one, 275 times 60 plus 108 times 87 plus 75 times 215. Let's plug it in. 275 times 60 . those up. Alright. Back to circle stuff. Two tangent lines. Remember, that means these are equal. 12y minus 5 equals 7. 7y plus 10. We get rid of the smaller y. Get rid of the loner. Then we get rid of that coefficient. Alright. Down here, these are those Pythagorean theorem problems. Same thing over here. Alright. More circle stuff. So remember, the inside angle equal sign half the arc. So we'll call that x. So to get rid of the half, times 2, times 2, 38 times 2 is 76. Okay, so let's call the angle x. The angle equals 1/2 the arc. So half of 86 is 43. Okay. The angle equals 1/2 the arc. Half of 114 is 57. Okay. So on this one, again, you get to use your form of the chart. Outside angle equals 1/2 big arc minus small arc. So we need to get 1/2 of 110, which is 55. Inside angles are different. So inside angle equals 1/2 arc plus arc. This is on your formula chart. $87.5. I believe. Same thing here. Inside angle equals 1/2 arc plus arc. Yeah. All right. So that'll do for the second day, and we'll get the third day going soon. All right. So if this is 70, then we know that this is also going to be 70 on the inside here. So we're going to write 70 right here. And then this is a straight line, which is 180. So 70 plus 70 is 140. And we got 180 minus 140 gives you 40. Right, so we got 40 right here. And then, if I can get this to work. So, if this is 40, then that means that the vertical angle is also 40 over here. And then over here, 180 minus 40, so that's a straight line, minus 40, gives you 140. So you got to find those central angles first, and then you can figure out these. IH, from here to here, matches the central angle of 40. HL, from here to here, matches the central angle of 140. I grab all of them. Okay, a circle has a radius of 7, and we're looking for the sector, the area of a sector. So that's pi r squared theta over 360. So r is 7. So pi 7 squared times theta, which is 110 over 360. So let's type it in. Pi 7 squared times 110 divided by 360, 47.04. And my units are inches squared. Oh, yeah. All right. So we're looking for FAD from here to here. So we're going to need this angle, which is 90. We're going to need this angle. So if that's a straight line, we're going to do 180 minus 25, which gives me 155. So if this is 155 and this is 90, FAD, there is no A, so we're going to call this A. That's funny. Oh, no, FAD is right here, the central angle. So FAD, we're looking for this angle right here. If that's 90, 90 minus 58 gives me 32. So put a little 32 right here. So the central angle FAD, I'm going to add up 25 plus 32 plus 58, which is going to give me 90 plus 25, which is 115 degrees. Surface area and volume. Classic. So we have a box, which is a prism, right? So the box means. So it's 17 high, 12 long, 3 wide. What is the total surface area of the box? So TSA from our formula chart is PH plus 2 big B. The perimeter of the bottom is 3 plus 12 plus 3 plus 12, which is 30. The H we already know is 17. And then big B is length times width. 3 times 2 is 36. So we're going to be doing 30 times 17 plus 2 times 36. 30 times 17 plus 2 times 36 gives us 582. 582, and that is in centimeters squared. That's surface area. So diameter of Pluto, what is that? That's a sphere. Okay, and if the diameter is 2,360, then that means the radius is half of that, which would be, let's see here, 1180. Okay, and we want to know the surface area of Pluto. The surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared, so 4 pi 1180 squared. And we get 1.7974 E7. Okay, it's kind of a weird answer. You can write 1.75, round that, but you have to put that E7, okay? That just means times 10 to the power of 7. It's a very large number. It'll have 7 decimal places to the right. So, again, it's a very large number, just like the diameter is a very large number. And this is kilometers squared. Okay, this time we have a radius of Saturn. Again, what is that? A sphere. So 58232 is my radius. So the volume for a sphere, again, is 4/3 pi r cubed. It's really going to be a big number. Pi 58232 cubed. When you type it in, make sure you hit caret and then third power. 58232 caret 3. So I get 8.27. And I get E14. Okay, and this is kilometers cubed this time because we're talking about volume. Okay. Ice cream cone has a height of 6 inches and a radius of 1.5. What is the total surface area of the cone? So we're just doing the cone. So to do surface area of a cone, we got to do pi RL plus pi r squared. Okay, so we need to get L. L is the hypotenuse of a right triangle, right? We know that the height is 6, the radius is 1.5, so we're going to do 6 squared plus 1.5 squared equals L squared. So 6 squared, 1.5 squared, so it's going to be 36 plus 2.25. And then we're going to do 38, then we're going to add them up, get 38.25. We're going to square root 38.25. It gives us 6.18. So L equals 6.18. And the radius we already knew was 1.5. So we're doing pi r. Let's try it again. Let's plus pi 1.5 squared. Okay, that's a lot, but it's all right. 1.5 times 6.18 plus pi 1.5 squared, 36.19. Okay. Marina City Complex in Chicago consists of 2 cylindrical towers. The central tower is blah, and what is the volume of the tower? Okay. The tower, one tower. So we have a height of 588, and we have a diameter of 127. So the radius is going to be 63.5. We want to find the volume of the tower. Okay, so the volume of a cylindrical or a cylinder, okay, is BH. But remember, big B is the area of a circle, which is pi r squared. So let's figure out pi r squared. So we got pi times 63.5 squared. Which gives us 12667.7. So that's B, 12667.7 times the height, which is 588. And that gives us a very large number, 7.45 E6. Okay, we're doing volume of a triangular prism. Again, this is sideways. This is sideways, right? So these are both sideways. So the volume of a prism is big BH. Big B is the area of a triangle, which is base times height divided by 2. 9 times 4 over 2, which is 18. The height is sideways here, and it's 14. So it's 18 times 14. And that gives us 252 feet squared. Sorry, cubed. Now this one, we don't know the height, so we need to figure it out. So half of this is 4. And I'm looking for this height. We'll call it x. Okay. So x squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. Hopefully you already know this is a Pythagorean triple. But just in case you don't, how do we get it? We square them, we subtract them, and then we square root. And the height is going to be 9, square root of 9, which is 3. So now that I know my height, my big B is going to be 8 times 3 divided by 2, which is 12. So the volume is big BH, which is going to be 12 times 12, which is 144 feet squared. Okay, so we want a surface area of a pyramid. Okay, and if it's that surface area, that's total of a pyramid. We get 1/2 PL plus B. So P of the bottom. Perimeter is 10 4 times, which is 40. Slant height is, we don't know, let's figure that out. This is 22. This is half, which is 5. And I'm looking for this slant height right here, which we'll call x. So 5 squared plus x squared equals 22 squared. 25 plus x squared equals 22 squared, which is 484. Like last time, we're going to subtract minus 25, minus 25, and I get 459. And just like before, I'm going to square root. So what is the square root of 459? 21.42. b, if I have 10 on each side, 10 times 10, right, is 100. So it's going to be 1/2 times 40 times 21.42 plus 100. There's your calculator problem. So we type it in, 1/2 times 40 times 21.42 plus 100. Let's make sure that looks like 100, not at 160. It's a 100. Okay. And we get 528.4 inches squared. Okay. And by the way, this one should have been cubed as volume. Okay, down here, we're doing volume inside of a cone. So the volume of a cone is 1/3 BH. Just remember, B is a circle, pi r squared. Do we know the radius? The diameter is 5. So D equals 5, then the radius is half, 2.5. So pi 2.5 squared. 2.5 squared gives me 19.64. Okay, so I'm going to do 1/3, 19.64 times the height, which is 9. So we knew the height was 9. Times 1 divided by 3 times 9. 58.9. Cylindrical water tower, okay? The radius of water doing lateral surface area. So LSA of a cylinder, 2 pi RH. Do we know R? Yep. Do we know H? Yep. So just multiply 2 times pi times 10 times 28. One 1759.29. Okay, these equations, remember our formula is x opposite of h squared plus y opposite of k squared equals r squared. So on this one, it's going to be x minus 3 squared plus y plus 8 squared equals 64. 8 squared is 64. Okay, x plus 1 squared plus y minus 7 squared equals 5 squared, 25. Okay, so remember this is pi r squared theta over 360. And then this is base times height divided by 2. Pi 9 squared divided by 4. And we get 63.62. And then we subtract, and we get 23.12. Okay, getting near the end here. Multiply 10 times 4 equals x times 5. 40 equals 5x divided by 5, and we get 8. Same thing here, x times 8 equals 10 times 12. 8x equals 120 divided by 8. And 120 divided by 8 is 15. Down here, volume of the following composite figures. Big BH up top, big BH on the bottom. Is 24 times the height is 3. 24 times 3 is 72. I take these two numbers and add them up, and I get 84 feet cubed. Alright, so this this is a volume of a half sphere, which is 1/2, 4/3, pi r cubed, r is 4, and then down here this is 1/3, big BH, which is pi r squared, pi 4 squared, times the height, which is 10. Okay, when I take those two numbers, I'm going to add them up. So I got 1/2 times 4/3 times pi times 4 to the 3rd power. Okay, what's going on here? 4/3 times pi times 4 to the 3rd power, and then I'm going to do 1/3 times pi 4 squared times 10. Okay, so I get 134.04 plus 167.55. Alright, this is supposed to not mess up on me. Okay, 0.55. So I add those up, and I get 301.59. And that's centimeters cubed. And that's it. Goodness gracious, that took forever. Woo.